Hello and welcome everybody to the Animal Eye Guy. Today we're going to be talking about a few things that I get asked a lot during consults. So here we go. So eye drops are fairly easy to apply. A lot of eye gels are also quite easy to apply. However, there are some medications which might be a bit more tricky to apply, such as ointments. Those of you who've have a dog on things like dry eye treatment, like Optimune, for instance, will find that it comes out like toothpaste and it's got loads of air in the back of the tube. So the easiest or the best way to solve that is by warming the tube up slightly. You can either warm that in your hand or under a warm tap, and then it comes out a bit more liquidy, so it's not quite as toothpastey when it comes out, and it's much easier to dose. When you are using medications like Optimune, make sure that you're only using a tiny small amount because it's a very expensive medication, and you don't need more than just a small amount. It's very difficult to say exactly what dogs and cats see compared to humans. What we do know is that their sense of vision is very different from ours, and we know that because the back of the eye is designed very differently from the way it is in humans. We humans are designed for seeing things very sharp, very accurately. We see lots of colors. Dogs and cats only see two sets of colors. We as humans see three types of colors. Birds see four types of colors, so they can see in the UV range, which is absolutely amazing to think about. So there are big differences between different species in the sense of what they can see. What we know about dogs and cats is that they were basically designed for seeing very fast moving objects in very dark light conditions. And we know that because the back of the eye has all the properties to be able to do that much better than we do as humans. But it does come at a cost because they can't see things quite as sharp in that detail at the same range as we do as humans. However, they do have other senses which are much more heightened than ours are. So their sense of smell is probably about 100,000 times better than ours. Their sense of hearing is probably a lot um, more developed than ours. Um, One other interesting fact about what they can see is that um, we as humans tend to see things when we watch TV, for instance. When we see a running movie, particularly on older TVs, which had about 24 to 48 frames per second, we see that as a moving film. Um, Dogs and cats would have been able to see that as separate images because they're what we call flicker fusion frequency, which is the ability of the back of the eye to distinguish between different light responses is much more developed and much faster than ours. So things that we perceive as a continuous film or a continuous movie, they will see as multiple different frames. Now, with high definition TVs, that's probably not quite as relevant anymore. However, it is relevant for other species, such as birds, for instance. So birds have a much higher ability to distinguish between certain light, between different frames. And that is important because birds, if they are in an environment where they've got a normal light source, a normal light bulb flickers at about 50 to 60 hertz, which means they flicker, but we as humans don't perceive that as a flicker, but a bird will do that. So birds need to have special light bulbs in order to be able to have a continuous light and not to have a continuous flicker going on in their head. So all of these things are absolutely fascinating and amazing, and they are worth thinking about, and they will affect animals if those things are ignored. So this is again a difficult question to answer for everybody because every dog and every cat is very different. There's also a breed difference. So there's certain dog breeds which are more pain sensitive than others. A good example for that is a Jack Russell, for instance. A Jack Russell Terrier will not show you a lot of pain until um, it's in a severe amount of pain. Other dog breeds, such as Cocker Spaniels, are going to be much more um, liable to show you signs of pain much earlier. But these signs of pain can be very different, and it depends on what condition they have. So there's acute sharp pain, such as if they have an ulcer in the eye, or if they have a sudden pressure spike where usually eyes go quite squinty. However, there's also more subtle, dull kind of pain, particularly when it comes to things like glaucoma, where the pressure rises very, very slowly and gradually, and they never show severe signs of pain. Owners might notice that they sleep a little bit more, or they're not quite themselves, but they're not ever really squinty. They don't rub at the eyes or do anything else like that. But that can already be a sign of pain. So in some cases, um, we have, as vets and ophthalmologists, have to speak for our patients and say that this patient is most likely in a degree of pain. And eye pain can also affect all other parts of the body. So there's some research that suggests that if you've got chronic eye pain, you're going to be pain sensitive on the rest of your body as well. So it does all tie in together. So hopefully you found this information useful, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.